On your journey, was there an herbalist who really inspired and supported you along your path? Do you have anyone who you consider an herbal mentor?
Definitely. I mean, well, I started with David, who was, a remarkable teacher and somebody that I'm still in touch with. But I moved back to Illinois after I finished herb school. And one day my cousin came over to my house and he said, I had a million herbs and, the usual jars and things everywhere, right? You know the picture. And my cousin came over and he said, you know what? Your house smells just like my acupuncturist's office. And I said, oh, I have to go see your acupuncturist because I didn't really know of anybody there who did anything with plants. She was in Chicago. And so I made an appointment and I had an appointment. And her name is Althea Northage-Orr. And she's an acupuncturist herbalist who's practiced in Chicago for a very long time. And when I went in the treatment room and we started talking, I never did get acupuncture that day because we started talking about herbs. What became clear is that she was this really brilliant clinician. It's like somebody could come in and she would look at them and she could like assess them and do a treatment and brew up an herb formula for them and just had amazing success. But she didn't know an herb unless it was in a jar with a label on it, right? It didn't, it could have been growing right outside her door. She wouldn't have known what it was. And I had the opposite. I knew all the plants, all the medicines. But if somebody asked me for help, I'd be like, chamomile? It's like, what do you do? So because we were both kind of entrepreneurs, we decided to start an herb training program in Chicago.
Nice.
And she would teach the clinical and I would teach the medicine making and the field botany. And basically what we were doing, we didn't tell anybody this, but what we were doing is getting our students to pay for us to teach each other. because she really wanted to know what I knew and I really wanted to know what she knew. And so this way we got paid to listen to each other. She was really instrumental. That's where I learned traditional Chinese medicine, working with her. She was my clinical supervisor for about 7 years when I was starting to practice. We taught together for about 6 years. After we taught in Chicago for a number of years, I wanted to move to Atlanta, so we started the same program both places, which was totally insane because I would fly to Chicago one weekend a month and she would fly to Atlanta one weekend a month.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and we did that for about 3 years and then we both just got so burned out we just split the business. She took Chicago, I took Atlanta. But Althea Northage-Orr was probably the person who shaped me as an herbalist more than anyone else.